The Philippine government resumes deployment of Filipino workers to Saudi Arabia after ironing out issues on COVID-19 protocols. A PDP Laban official continues his call for an assembly, even as other members, such as party president Manny Pacquiao, have deemed it unauthorized. The Health Department detects over 200 new COVID cases of COVID-19 variants of concern in the Philippines, most of which are the South African variant. Although COVID-19 cases in the NCR Plus are now on a downward trend, a research group flags rising infections in other areas, including Davao. And a vaccine recipient in Ohio, United States, took home a $1 million incentive for getting herself inoculated against COVID-19. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. The OCTA Research Group reports that some areas outside the NCR bubble are now experiencing an uptick in COVID-19 cases. In an interview with us earlier, OCTA Research Fellow Ranjit Rai listed Davao City, Iloilo, Zamboanga, Cagayan de Oro, as well as Puerto Princesa and Cagayan Valley as areas of concern. He warned that the rise of cases in these areas can turn into a surge.
The trend is going down here in the NCR, but outside of the NCR, we are seeing upticks in cases, and there is a very distinct possibility that they will all turn into surges. So that's why we have to increase testing, tracing, and isolation.
Rice suggested to keep the general community quarantine or GCQ status in Metro Manila to further contain the transmission of COVID-19. He also said the IATF should consider placing Davao City under a stricter modified enhanced community quarantine or MECQ.
I think Davao City should think about it. Cases are going up, and there are other areas across the country. We leave it up to the IATF to suggest.
The Health Department confirms 242 new cases of various COVID-19 variants classified as being of concern. One of the cases is an Indian variant, 104 are UK variant, and 137 are South African variant. The DOH also detected 4 cases of the Philippine variant, which is not yet a variant of concern. Meanwhile, the country records over 7,400 new cases today. The total number of COVID cases now is at 1,200,000, some 53,000 of which are still active. Now, at least 156 more COVID-19 patients unfortunately died from the disease, while 7,500 recently recovered from COVID-19. At least 6 new research and development projects are set to be launched in the Philippines. These will serve as foundation studies of the proposed Virology and Vaccine Institute. That's according to Science and Technology Department Secretary Fortunato de la Peña. In his Bayanihan report, de la Peña said the R&D studies are regarding common viruses with medical importance and pandemic potential for antibody studies, multi-drug resistant bacteria, food and waterborne bacterial pathogens, and Zika-related diagnostics and vaccine research. Now, all of these studies are to be implemented by the DOST Industrial Technology Development Institute, while 2 COVID-19 related research are to be done with St. Luke's Medical Center and the RITM. De la Peña said the budget department has already approved a total of 284 million pesos for the 6 R&D studies. One lucky vaccinee in Ohio, United States wins $1 million for simply getting inoculated. Let's take a look at her reaction in this video from Bloomberg Quick Take.
Iowans are about to be big, and I do mean huge winners, because finally the wait is over. We are excited to announce the first winner, Abigail Bugensky from Silverton. Congratulations.
Really surprised when I got the call, and I still can't believe it. It was a crazy night.
Well, you told me you're getting close to your parents, and I said, well, I'll call you back, or you can call me back. But when you walked in, what was the reaction your parents had?
Well, I was screaming enough that my parents thought that I was crying and that something was wrong. And when I started yelling that I won $1 million and I was going to be a millionaire, they told me to calm down and make sure it wasn't a prank before I really started freaking out. I could see notifications coming up on my phone that people were starting to follow me on Instagram and Facebook and message me. And I think that was it for me. I knew that my name had actually been announced and I had actually won the Vax-A-Million.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Overseas Filipino workers bound for Saudi Arabia are now relieved after the government lifted the temporary deployment ban to the Middle Eastern country. JC Cosico with the report.
Kinakausap na lang ang airline para matuloy na. Okay, so hintay na lang kayo.
This is the reaction of some OFWs after they were told that the temporary deployment ban to Saudi Arabia has been lifted. 35-year-old Warda Maulana got emotional and immediately called her relatives in Maguindanao. The domestic helper in Jeddah is scheduled to fly to the Western Asian country today.
All I can say is alhamdulillah at natutuloy na po yung flight ko ngayon, araw, inshallah, inshallah. Pinakinggan ni Allah po yun, panalangin ko. Maiiyak ka na lang na malaman mo yung natutuloy na ang flight mo. Sayang-saya, in the first place is hirap tayo dito sa Pilipinas. Unang-una magtatrabaho tayo para sa pamilya natin. Pangalawa, yan, yung saya mo, hindi mo ma-explain yung saya mo.
43-year-old Joseph Tibus was also relieved as he went to NAIA Terminal 1 this morning, hoping that he will get the flight to Riyadh. He works as a product and support specialist in a banking company there.
Tuwang-tuwa po kami mga OFW. Very happy po na makakabalik na kami ng Saudi.
Utang ka ba ng tinig, sir?
Sobra po, sobra. Sobra. Kasi siyempre yung work, yung kabuhayan, yung work at kabuhayan nandun talaga. O, kailangan.
The national government issued a temporary deployment ban to Saudi Arabia on Friday. This after the Labor Department learned that some foreign employers refused to shoulder the cost of their workers' institutional quarantine. Labor Chief Silvestre Bello III said he finally received a letter from the Saudi government assuring them that employers and sponsors will pay for the quarantine of OFWs.
Probably they found na yung ating request is well-based and justified. Kasi unang-una sila naman nag-require na i-quarantine yung ating mga OFWs. And alam naman nila that our OFWs are there to earn a living. Hindi pa nga sila nagkatrabaho. Baka babayarin mo na sila, di ba?
Bello urged OFWs to report to authorities should their employers fail to fulfill their promise. There will be 2 flights bound to KSA today at 4 in the afternoon via Philippine Airlines. The Labor Department told OFWs who missed their flights yesterday to not worry. They ensured that they will assist them in rebooking, reswabbing, and visa processing.
Ayaw namin na pagdating nila doon ay mapapagsamantala sila ng mga employers. So we have to be very sure that there is a strict order from the Saudi government na dapat magbayad sa quarantine expense ay ang employer. So yun po ang aming ginawa.
For News 5, JC Cosico, We Are One News.
The Manila International Airport Authority said only 1 flight was affected today by the diversion of Cebu-bound international flights to Manila. MIA said the passengers of Qatar Airways flight QR924 from Doha to Cebu was transferred to a flight directly to Manila. According to the agency, the flight arrived this afternoon at the NAIA Terminal 3. Other affected carriers include Cathay Pacific, Emirates, Jin Air, and Philippine Airlines. The diversion of flights to NAIA from the Mactan Cebu International Airport will last until June 5.
It's only Qatar Airways. Yung flight nila to Cebu na QR924, that's Doha, Cebu, wala nang pasaherong sakay yun. Sinakay nilang lahat sa QR932, which is Doha, Manila. So meaning, Doha pa lang, chinek-in na sila sa QR932. Kaya wala nang physical diversion to Manila.
Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan or PDP Laban, Vice Chairman Alfonso Cusi has continued this push for a National Council Assembly. This is despite calls from a quote minority of the party mates to skip the event. In a statement, Cusi pointed out the need to assess where the party is in its support for President Duterte, who sits as the party chairman. He also tries to assure party President Senator Manny Pacquiao that the meeting on Monday is not related to the upcoming elections. In an interview with the Chiefs, PDP Laban Executive Director Ron Munsayak stressed that any resolution that will come from the National Council meeting is unofficial. Munsayak explained that such gatherings must be sanctioned by the party chairman and the president.
Sa mata po ng liderato ng partido, sa mata ng karamihan ng aming mga kapartido, sa mata po ng constitution bylaws ng partido natin, wala pong assembly, walang council meeting na mangyayari on Monday. Anything na mapag-usapan doon is unofficial.
The infamous man who was spotted carrying a Walis tambo during the January 6 U.S. Capitol riot has been arrested. FBI agents arrested Keen Brian Lazo in Norfolk, Virginia over charges related to the insurrection. Authorities did not disclose Lazo's nationality. Some assume that Lazo is a Filipino for bring a broom that is commonly used in the Philippines. The arrest was made the same day Republican senators in the United States blocked a bipartisan inquiry into the riot led by Trump supporters. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.